Hey, what's up guys? Today we're taking a look at how to make this police guard duplication effect inside of After Effects. Hey, what's up guys? Ryan here and welcome back to another tutorial, and today we're just continuing breaking down some of these simple visual effects that I did for a wedding trailer 5 years ago. So yeah, simple effects, you can use them. Today we're talking about the duplication of the guard effect, so let's go ahead and jump right in and take a look. One of the things I did want to show you real quick, if you're new and just tuning in, I just kind of wanted to show you some of the other effects we're breaking down over the next couple of weeks. So today we're talking about this guard duplication effect. We talked about adding some bullets onto the glass when the car comes by. Coming up, we're going to talk about some muzzle flashes. Let's see, this is a pretty cool effect right here. We got this car jumping effect on the highway we're going to talk about next couple of weeks. Let's see, some slow motion explosions. And we got this cool Matrix looking style slow-mo effect right here. All right, so those are coming up next couple of weeks. Subscribe if you want to see those. But today, let's go ahead and jump into this duplication effect and see how it's done. So here we are inside of one of the shots. This is the easier shots, and I'll kind of show you what I did in a couple of different ways you can do this to get this duplication effect. And the whole reason this effect came along is we knew we wanted some guards chasing our main characters, but we only had one outfit. So instead of having someone change, we just kind of shot it without their face, or we put a face mask on, and we wanted this duplication effect. So we wanted to give that effect that there's lots of guards chasing our characters. So let me go ahead, I'm gonna delete this one, and let's just look at our footage here. So what we got my buddy Kyle starting at the bottom of the stairs here. Fun side note, every project I did in film school had a cameo of my buddy Kyle here. So hey, ended up being my best man at my wedding, and here we are making a little short film. So anyway, so what I did is had Kyle take a couple of paces up and down the steps here, and I knew I wanted multiple guards. Now, so what we could do, which would be real easy, is just sort of use this first take and multiply it out. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to do that real fast. Let's set some handles here from when he actually enters the frame. Full out of frame right there. Let's start it in there, and we'll just have him run all the way up the stairs. All right, I'm kind of waiting for that light to sort of stop changing as well. And there we go. So there's our first running up the stairs shot. I'm going to turn off these color correction layers real quick. Let's make this composition a little bit larger, a little bit longer. Let's make it maybe 300 frames. And I'm just going to extend all this to where we get him going fully out of frame. Cool. And so we'll end it right there. So what we're going to do, so I'm just going to do a little fast, quick roto to solo him out. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm just going to make a little elliptical mask here. Nothing too crazy. Let's hit M. Let's make a path. And let's just sort of follow him going in and out of the frame here. So we'll go back a couple more frames. All right, and let's just kind of follow him up the stairs here. We'll give him a little bit. Let's make sure we're not cutting off his knees there. All right, let's keep going as he goes up the stairs here, adjusting the mask as we need it. I don't really need much of that railing in there, so let's just kind of keep following up the stairs. And we'll go a little bit more. All right, and now he's out of the frame. So that's our shot right there. That's our guard. So let's go ahead, just kind of see what areas we're missing here. I might go ahead and just get his knee back in there a little bit more. And just kind of, I'm just sort of refining this just a little bit. All right, cool. So now we got our guard cut out. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to bring in some feathering. And we'll kind of see how that works, and we'll adjust it if we need to. So now what we did on this same take is, let's go ahead and go back to the original footage, is here we have our guard running up the stairs. And once he gets to the top, what I did is I just left the camera there to get a plate that our duplication will live on. All right, so I'll just set my in and out to when the plate is clean so we can put our guards on it. And once I set those in and outs, I'm just going ahead and add an overlay edit. It's down here on the timeline a little bit, so I'm going to do Alt-Home to bring it back. And this will be our, let me rename it to, this is our plate. I'll throw that guy in the bottom. Let's make sure I'm back in the composition here. And let's go ahead and go home and see what we got. All right, cool. So might be losing them a little bit with the feathering here, but it's not too bad. All right, so since this is our duplication layer, what we could do is we could just duplicate this and, offset it here a little bit to get sort of that, multiple guard effect going in. But if you have a lot of time and a lot of guards, you might not want to use this approach. So what I would actually recommend when you shoot this is have the actor do a couple of different takes so that it doesn't look very uniform. Maybe he has his gun down, or there's something on, you do a take where he has a different gun on his hip, something to distinguish these guards. We didn't do that because, well, I'm not smart enough at the time. But instead, what you can do instead of duplicating these layers is just go ahead and type in echo. And let's use, actually, before I do that, let's pre-comp this. We'll leave all the attributes, which is our mask in there. And what I'm going to do now is let's apply the echo effect to this composition. All right, so we got things happening, which is awesome. For echo operator, I'm going to put this to composite in back. And I'm going to go to the time here. I'm going to start to slide this time. And I'm holding control just to do smaller amounts here. And now let's see what we got. So what I want to do is I want to kind of line these up as close as I can before they touch. Because once they touch, it's going to kind of lose that a little bit. So I might bring this back even a little bit more. Awesome. So now we're kind of set up here. And we're good to go. And once I kind of got this going, maybe I'll bring it back a little bit more. I can start adding the number of echoes. So let's add 3 guys here. And then maybe instead of him running up the stairs, we want to start with him already on the stairs. So let's go ahead and let's start it right there. I'm going to extend the time of this. And now what we got is guards already starting on the stairs that our plate didn't have. All right, so there's our first example. Let's jump into our other composition here real quick. This one's a little bit more complicated, but the same techniques apply. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide all these for now so we can start over, and I'll just show you how I sort of built this guy. So I'll hide those. Let's turn off the color correction. Oh, I guess that is the last thing we add over here is just a little bit different layers of a little bit of color grading to kind of give it that blue tone. Let's sort of quickly build this from scratch. So here's our plate. And let's just kind of look at what we got. So we have 1 guard right here in the middle. All right, so that's we're going to isolate that. That'll be its own section that we'll set on a loop. Got a guard coming up the stairs, and I did set this up out of frame so we didn't see him the whole time. And maybe we will follow him anyways just to get those shadows in there. And then our last section is we get to the top and we got to adjust our pants. So anyways, the shot, this might not need to be duplicated, since we'd have to do a little bit more complicated roto, and we might want to end the shot right here anyways. So let's go ahead and start breaking this down. So we'll bring in our background. So right away, just looking at this, nothing's happening yet. We might want to make this our background plate. So let's go ahead, call this plate. Let's duplicate this, and let's see which guard we get first, which should be this little section right here. All right, I'm just sliding this over. And instead of sliding it over, let's just bring in some new footage in here. I'm going to scroll to where it happens because I took a really long static shot here to use as a plate. So here we go. Here's our first guard. So we'll set our endpoint there. Set our out point. Bring that in our composition. So same technique. I'm just going to make a little quick mask that follows our guard. So let's do that. Hit M. Set our mask path. And I'm just going to go back maybe 10 frames to start. All right. Go back 2 more frames. All right, so we just need to follow him a little bit more. Cool. We'll just kind of let him pass. I might just sort of close up this mask right at the end here. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Maybe his gun comes out just a little bit more. Awesome. All right, so there's our first guard. Let's go ahead. I'm going to pre-comp this, move all the attributes. We'll call this, if I could type, lower guard. All right, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to do the echo effect. Let's set this to composite and back. And let's see, we want another guard at least right there. Just go ahead and slide this back. All right, let's just kind of take a look at that. Cool, so this isn't going the duration of the composition either. And this is the other great thing about the echo effect is if I do the enable time remapping here, and since we got that echo effect on there, it's still gonna keep it going. So let's go ahead, let's add a few more echoes. Let's do like 5. All right, cool, there we go, it populated for us. And you know, maybe we actually want guards already here like we talked about earlier. So we'll have him sort of already off the frame there. Move this forward. And there we go. We got guards going up all the way to the end. So I might offset this a little bit more so they're not as close, because who would really run that close? Awesome. So there's our lower guard footage. Now let's get our, let's see, let's let Kyle run up the stairs here. Perfect. There we go. All right, so let's trim this to where it kind of comes in a little bit more. I'll set my out point right there. Let's drop it into After Effects. And there we go. So what I might do, even though I know my comp isn't this long, I'm still going to kind of extend this duration just so we can work with this going all the way out of the edge here. So let's go ahead and do the same thing. Here we go. So I'm going to get a little square mask here. I might tighten it up just a little bit on this one. All right, let's hit M, set a mask path. Let's go back 10 frames. Cool, now there we go. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna pre-comp this guy, move all the attributes into the new composition. Let's call this left guard. Yikes, there we go. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit E. I'll grab the same echo effect and let's see how we do. Cool, so there we go. So I'm gonna offset this so we have some guards in the frame still. And if you don't like this distance that's creating, because it's kind of hitting the rotor right there. So let's go ahead and look at what we can do to shorten up this distance. So here's our guard. Let's see, he's kind of on the lower part here. So my guess is it's this big hit right there is kind of causing that overlap to our next guard. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to tighten this up a little bit more so we can get, you know, we can tighten that distance between those two guards. So I'll bring this down. All right, cool. Now let's go back here and let's see how close we can get this offset of our echo effect. All right, there we go. So we're able to bring our guards a little closer together. You know, and the same thing goes, you know, if you want to kind of clean this stuff up, just keep adjusting those roto layers and you'll be able to get your guards a bit closer. So now let's get our last one on the side here. Let's go back to our original footage and just sort of, let's see. So we want the guard to be done right before the pants adjusting. Pants adjustment maneuver is right here. So let's go ahead and don't worry about those red shoes. That's totally standard issue. If you haven't seen it, I mean, I don't know what you're watching. And let's go back to where his foot goes out of frame. Right there. Awesome. So we'll drop that in. And so this is actually the easiest one out of all of them. We're not doing much roto or duplication. Let's go ahead, and our shot is actually this long. So let's go ahead and have him end right here. And all I'm going to do is just draw a mask on this guardrail. Let's just go ahead and follow this. And I might follow this too, just to cover up the ones underneath. Awesome. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. All right, cool. So we got a little bit of this guard duplication effect. Let's kind of give it a little bit more life with some camera shake. And you know, the guards would probably be going a little bit faster. So let's go ahead and speed it up and do a little bit of color grading. So what I'm going to do is I have all our layers to make this right here. Let's go ahead. We'll pre-comp this guy. And kind of like the last tutorial, I'm just going to do a little wiggle expression on the position and rotation. Let's just do maybe 1 time a second, 10 pixels. Same thing with rotation. We'll do wiggle, maybe not as much, and maybe just 1 degree. So we got some Z rotation on that and a little bit of a wiggle movement. And same thing I did last week. I'll do a little bit of optics. Optics compensation. Let's just sort of reverse that, stretch it out so we lose those gaps. Awesome. Let's get our widescreen bars in there, 1920 by 816. And I will stencil alpha with this again. All right, so we got our widescreen look on there. Let's go ahead and let's get our stretch column up here. Let's go ahead. I'll right click this column. We'll get our time stretch and we'll make this a little, not by too much. We'll make it a little faster. All right, so that might be too fast. They kind of look a little too artificial. But, you know, it definitely helps with the guards, you know, looking like they're running a little bit faster. And let me just show you kind of the overall color correction I did. So here we got a little bit of a boost in the highlights and the contrast a little bit. Darkening the darks a little bit. Giving that a little bit of a green tone on the next layer. Giving that overall blue effect. And sort of darkening our contrast a little bit. Let's go ahead and take a look. All right, we might want to increase that camera shake a little bit, but hey, there's our overall guard duplication effect. So I hope that helps you guys. That's just a fun little easy visual effect that anyone can do for any of their projects. So yeah, stay tuned next week. Next couple of weeks, got more tutorials coming out. Got that muzzle flare, those 3D motion tracking, slow-mo effects. All that stuff's coming up, so subscribe if you want to see that. Thanks again for tuning in, and I will see you guys in the next tutorial. So have a great Friday. We 3D tracked it, and we have some Z space going on, and it just looks pretty cool. We're going to have our beams follow it no matter where we reposition it.